Nordavind taking on AGO. My name is Mitch, and joining me, as always, is Dean. How are you feeling about this map, Dean?
I'm looking forward to it. We have a map now that we know all the callouts on, and I think it's definitely going to be easier to cast. The question is, are AGO going to have an easier time playing it? You'd imagine so, and they do actually start things off fairly well. Furlan and PH are able to find a frag each, and suddenly with Tensky falling as well, the A-bomb site is actually completely open for the taking.
Indeed it is, and not only the A-bomb site, but almost the whole map, as Rubino is the last player left alive, trying to clutch this out, but okay, behind a smoke he catches a player, PHR, I was going to say just spamming through aimlessly, but evidently his aim was there. Managing the headshot, even though Rubino, or rather PHR, I think was just behind the box. A headshot nonetheless, as Grubby finishes things off though. There will be nothing more for Rubino to find, and that means it is 1-0. AGO finding the lead to start things off early on. And this is something that we see from them quite a lot. Their T side is a very solid one. It's when we move over to the CT side that sometimes we see them fall behind a little bit. But we're looking to see them clock up. I wouldn't be surprised to see them getting very close to double digits in this half, because this is a map they're very, very comfortable on.
Yeah, the force buys can work pretty well here on Inferno. As I said, I kind of like the force buy. I kind of prefer it over going for just the eco in the second round, only because if you go for the eco and you buy into round number 3, sure, you get a decent buy in terms of the weaponry, but if you want to get the rifles all out, you're not going to have a lot of utility. You'll have to sacrifice a bit to get a kit out as well, so go for the force buy. If it doesn't work, sure, you are going to go down 3 before you get the buy, but that buy is also going to be so much stronger. And also, you still have the opportunity here to try and get something done with the pistols and SMGs. Inferno, a very close range map, and as we can see right now, B is looking to be the site for AGO to take it towards. They don't have the bomb with them. They do now actually have control of the site already, and Furlan just continues to frag with that Mac 10, building a bank for himself.
Halzer trying to swing in with the Deagle to make sure there's nothing else to come through from Furlan. Doesn't look to be the case though. The bomb shifting its way, or rather sprinting its way towards the B bomb site. Should be able to cross uncontested. Rubino making his way down middle now as well. Ideally here, I think they want another SMG kill on the CT side. They are obviously with the investment looking to win it, but it is unlikely, or was at least. Halzerk now with the potential to find a one bullet kill. Not able to land it. What's Rubino? SMG up against 2 AKs with armor. Not in the best spots. He decides he just wants to save. Carry forward the armor and SMG to the next round. Probably the best decision. And it is a bit of a shame though, because you saw the work that Halzer got done. If he had Rubino pushing with him, we could have seen a bit of a different outcome, as there were only 2 players on that bomb site. But nothing you can do now as the bomb set to explode. AGO walk away with a 2-0, but they do take a lot of casualties, and I think all in all this is still a positive round for Nordavind, provided they can do the same in the upcoming.
Yeah, saving over the one SMG at least, maybe having a couple upgraded pistols at best, it's going to give them a chance for at least some damage again to come in. But this is the round here where AGO, this is where they need to take it as cleanly as they can to put themselves in a good position. It's basically the old economy system pretty much. The buy comes out after taking a 3-0 lead. So they have a bit of a chance in this one specifically up against a much weaker buy to ideally keep everyone alive. Build up the money for themselves a little bit further. But for now, anyway, taking their time. They know they're up against that weaker investment. There is at least one weapon saved over, maybe a couple of pistols upgraded, so they take their time early on. Going to be just a standard default. They get the banana control at least. And they do actually manage to find an opening frag off the back of it as well. Ratifaction trying to take the peak goes down to PHR. And now Croman being the sole defender left on this B-bomb site itself. He has a rotation being called in. I think it's Halzer coming through the CT spawn, but he's smoked off, so there's not really much that he can do about it.
You can see the effect this is having on the CT side, spreading them out so thinly as they split them with the smokes, make sure that they're able to find individuals and take them down. AGO are expertly dispatching their opponents in this round and yet to lose a player, and indeed they do walk away unscathed, building up a better economy for themselves, which could be pivotal in the coming rounds, as Nordavind, of course, saving over in the previous round and ecoing for the most part just there, will now find themselves with an AWP and indeed majority scopes, with 2 AUGs backing it up alongside the rifles, with lots of utility as well to play with, and utility being a very important factor of the CT side on Inferno. You're able to take up so much time by using those smokes. Caper just headbutts a grenade and continues on up middle to aggress very early on and pressure this A defense, which is very good for them because there's 3 players on Banana. This could work out very poorly for Nordavind. There's a lot of pressure on Tensky, a player we saw step it up massively over on the previous map, but this time he gets taken down through a smoke. The angle was there for Furlan, pre-firing it. And with a 3-0 lead, I think at this point AGO have claimed a 4th because Nordavind should just be going for the save at this point. Although they have only got a 1-man disadvantage, so it's possible, but they don't want to risk it. Even still, they lose another rifle.
Yeah, again, all they can do is save. Not looking good here as a start to the 3rd map in the best of 3 for Nordavind. Put up a great performance back on Vertigo, but coming onto a map, of course, the AGO are definitely more familiar with. They are struggling to try and get things rolling. Croman and Ratifaction, of course, should be at least saving over an M4 and an op. They do have the full loss bonus coming into this next round, so they could, I guess, manage to get some form of buyout. They could drop over a couple of rifles. Croman and Ratifaction could give over the maybe the Halster and Tensky. I think Rubino would probably be willing to sacrifice down and get himself an SMG or something along those lines. But yeah, that kill from Forlin right there just pretty much opened things up. They already had the advantage before that as well.
Well, starting things off here, AGO lose a man, which isn't ideal for them. Returning it at least through the smoke, Croman's going to be taken down. Presents an opportunity now for the T side because Alzerk out in the open misses his shot. Rubino trades back, and now again into a 3 versus 3. The even footing, but below 5 is always good for the T side. It spreads the defense a little bit more thinly. There's the opening. Caper not able to win out the second fight though, leaving Tensky to defend the A bomb site for now. Smoke down in pit stops him from being Molotoved, and he can peek over it up on top of the bicycle. But it won't be such a swift exit to the round for Nordavind as they would hope. AGO are taking it slowly, not yet angling themselves towards a bomb site. Although they are towards the top of middle, they're simply waiting for over-aggression to come through from the CT side. And eventually, you would imagine it would. They're either relying on individual defenses such as this, which evidently didn't work out, or they can play it as a 2-man and try to aggress up short, see if the T's are still there. They didn't decide to go for that, and losing at the bomb site defense again. We should be looking at a save. There's no money for the next round for Nordavind, but maybe Ratifaction thinks he's got a better chance. And actually, just thinking about it, statistically, this is probably their better chance to find a round is right here. You know, 1 versus 2 with both players lit up versus 5 versus 5 where there's 5 rifles and you've 4 pistols. It was certainly worth going for that, I think, overall. He could do more in that round than this round if he had a rifle, but being taken down by the AWP sees no reward for the risk. And 5-0 AGO again, starting off a very strong T side, which is a staple of their Inferno. As we go through time, we see them being quite a strong team here, and Nordavind in general, not the kind of team that sure, they caught them off guard on Vertigo. You saw them, but I think that was primarily based on the map working for them more so, and a lack of map knowledge from AGO. And when we go to maps where both teams are familiar, AGO are walking away with the superiority early on.
Yeah, it does kind of come down to, of course, AGO have been together for a fairly long time now with this roster. Sure, they had a change with Caper coming in, of course, when Snatchy left to go over to VP, but that was quite a while ago at this point. And of course, Nordavind is a relatively new roster, not having too much professional experience. I believe most of their officials have been played in Norwegian leagues so far. But let's say this round, a decent kill comes in from Rubino. Problem is he gets traded, and with the smokes down, the rest of the CTs are going to be just locked off at a site for the moment. And the HR actually, I think through the smoke, they're able to find a quick headshot. Oh no, that was actually on mid, I believe. But yeah, nice find either way. Needs to be careful. Doesn't want to give his rifle to either of those players who are actually creeping towards him.
Creeping in. DHR is creeping behind. starting to come through the apartments. Lands one onto Ratifaction, leaving only Halzerk to try and deal with this 1 versus 4. And if he can just bring a rifle through to the next round, that's a positive. That's a win for him. But so far, AGO aren't giving him any opportunity to do so. Eventually pushing up close, though. Furlan was in danger, and indeed is. Halzerk with another on the Grubby. He's picked up an AK exiting, knows he's a player towards second mid. But he's the hell out of there. Sitting at bottom mid. A beautiful play from Halzerk. I really didn't expect him to be able to walk away with much there. And to find the 2 kills and indeed save an AK. That is fantastic for the CTs now. In a round where they're going to invest, that saves them quite a bit of cash. They got a couple coupons.
Yeah, pause coming in. Yeah, this is maybe even a little bit late for Nordavind. I would like to have seen it before the previous gun round, but better late than never, I suppose, Mitch. It is at least going to be called in. They're going to try and discuss things now. The question is, what can they do? Op comes out on the Halzerk, Rubino yet to buy. He'll get pretty much everything he wants. Could potentially buy up a second op if they wanted, and perhaps toss that over to Ratifaction. I know he's definitely a very capable opper.
I think Halzerk likes to use it for sure. Wouldn't be surprised to see it in the hands of Ratifaction. I think that was the role he had over at No Chance anyways. One that he played quite well with the scoped weapon. Halzerk, I think, is over on the first map of Train. I felt like he wasn't as present as we see a lot of oppers being, and certainly is what I'd seen Ratifaction on the No Chance lineup. He seemed a lot more present in rounds than Halzerk, but opening it up, it is the CT side opper to lose out the fight. And Sparrow wins out that duel again, putting AGO ahead. With Croman falling, things look even worse for the CTs because it is very difficult to defend Inferno with 3 players.
Yeah, and I'd say even harder with 2, Mitch. They are up against 4 opponents still, of course. Rubino, the closest player to this B-bomb site to try and defend, but will he be smoked off is the question. It looks like it will be indeed. He's actually going to creep forward, though. Perhaps there's a bit of a chance. Gets the opening kill with the op, and is allowed to actually escape away into safety for the moment. And he denied a bomb plant with the wall bang is the question. Sadly, just a little bit too high. Although his nade will follow up with at least some damage, but still, a man disadvantage coming into a B retake is never an easy scenario to overcome. And you can see that they do at least have a bit of utility. They want to go for it. With 2 kits, I guess it's a decent opportunity, but as you see Groovy making a play, he takes down 1 and leaves Rubino alone, now trapped in construction.
Getting out of here is almost impossible. Sparrow, watching the angle, catches him on the cross. He couldn't stick around too much longer. And no smokes to get him out. 7-0. And this is what I was saying, you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see AGO up on the double digits of their T side now. It becomes even more likely. Nordavind coming into this round with what should be an eco. For the most part, it's the same thing we saw coming out on Train multiple times. The pistols alongside a scout. And you can see the odds very much favored for AGO right now. 10-1 for Nordavind. Very tempting to pronounce that D. Nordavind.
Yeah, as I said before, I like the D, so I keep seeing there.
Yes, indeedy. That's I don't think it's something that needs to be said. I think everybody knows that.
It's just a good letter. It starts my name. All right. I've got to respect it. But yeah, 4-on-3 right now. Again, a favorable position for AGO as you would expect. And Nordavind with a scout and a few deagles. They have 3 deagles, 1 scout in the hands of Croman as well. He actually does have Kevlar and a flash. But it's not looking too good. They've taken a little bit of a gamble. 2 players over towards A, but currently AGO, they've taken full banana control, and really they can take this anywhere on the map whenever they can. Whenever they decide to come to that decision. It looks like B at least will be favored though.
Well, Croman's dispatched fairly quickly, not able to get up to anything with the scout, but the much cheaper weapon of the deagle is used effectively on middle, finding a second kill in the round for the CT side. But again, at this point, right, the economy for the Ts isn't the biggest worry in the world. Ooh. Not the biggest worry in the world. As we come into things, you know, a 2 versus 2 for AGO, they're probably still going to win this round. You can see the money in the back pocket is fine, and they can definitely afford to invest. The only problem is that now Nordavind find themselves with 1 free rifle, and I think 2. Tensky's waiting in CT. There's a possibility that he'll be able to get the rifle blown away by the bomb. Is what he was going for. See from his perspective. He does eventually pick it up, indeed. The bomb blew it right towards him, so I think that was a better decision. Not to go in and take it early. He simply waits till it moves. So he's in a safer angle, and he knows nobody's on the bomb side at that point peeking him. So he's safe to do so. The little things that that help.
Do you have much hope now is the question, Mitch? Do you think Nordavind can begin to pull this back? I feel like this is probably the last chance that they have to try and actually make this a somewhat respectable half. That was a solid opening kill by Sparrow, but he did decide to kind of hang around and does eventually get taken down. A 1-for-1 trade, something decent for AGO. I don't think they'll be dissatisfied with it. They do actually look to try and take it towards A, and currently, of course, there is still 2 players towards B, and they know that, so they're going to go ahead and try and take this slightly more open bomb site and use that numbers advantage to hopefully get that bomb planted.
Only 2 players to defend A here, but you have got the player watching towards long pretty patiently. As Tensky gets taken down, though, that A-bomb site doesn't matter about long control at all. It's under threat and it's under siege. Bomb going to be planted as we speak. Ratifaction starting to make the rotation in towards the bomb site. Waiting for his teammate Chroma to come and help out. In a 2v3, look, they're not in a massively disadvantageous situation, especially with Chroma having the AWP. He might just be able to find the first... The caper is in the pit, but that flashbang's pretty much destroyed their chances of going for this.
Yeah, they have to save. Otherwise, they're going to be on an eco. If they save, Tensky can buy for himself. Ratifaction and Chroman can both drop over weapons, and they will get a full buy in the next round. But yeah, 9-0 for AGO. This is not what I was expecting coming into Inferno. I said it never disappoints. Inferno is a third map in a best of 3s. Always an intense matchup, but not so far here, Mitch. AGO are quite clearly in control here on map number 3. Making up for, I guess, what was a lack of preparation back on Vertigo.
Yeah, indeed. Making up for it for sure. I mean, 9-0. They've been, well, not flawless in the rounds, but flawless in the game so far. Early Molotov and nade, stopping any push from coming through in Library. Chroman not going to land the opening shot, unfortunately for him. Molotov, oh, it hits the smoke as well. That could be problematic. Ratifaction spamming through, finds a kill nonetheless, though. Chroman, he's staying around there for a long time, spamming. That could have been dangerous had they have pushed through. Lucky for him, that wasn't the case. They don't overwhelm him. AGO still with an AWP on Sparrow, a player that has found a lot of these opening kills for his team. This is the best Nordavind have looked for a while now. With the man advantage playing into things, the A push is still on the cards. Even though the bomb is towards the bottom of Banana, or indeed the T spawn, there's very, very distinct aggression coming through. Grubby just about spotted a leg as well. He knows there's a player on long at this point. Rubino's going to give away his position with the Molotov. There goes the smoke as well, coming through from Tensky. So they now have pretty much all the information they need on this push. They know where all 3 players are. Just a matter of waiting for a peak, really. With 40 seconds, they have a small bit of time to play with, but that clock is going to run down pretty soon. It's a 2 versus 2, as the bomb site's already been seized and the bomb planted. You can see the time ticking away as Chroman and Ratifaction attempt to make a retake with 2 scopes. The AUG in play to take first contact. Flashbang goes over. Caper's not able to see anything. Still does a lot of damage, though. It's all on PHR. He's going to find a 1 versus 2. Takes down the AWP long range, and Ratifaction is low, but he doesn't know if he's sticking or not. Has to swing out, finds the headshot, closes the round. It's 10-0. This is a devastating scoreline for Nordavind. I mean, the chances of coming back from this are starting to fade away. They're not finding any rounds on their CT side of Inferno. Now, again, the CT is the weaker side for AGO in general. They are a very strong T-side team. That's why Inferno is such a good map for them. But we're going to need to see just a flawless T-side from Nordavind, really. And they need to start clocking up rounds, because we talked about this before. If you don't get, 4 or 5 rounds, at least, like, that's the lowest you physically want to get on any map, then simply losing a pistol can push you over the edge and lose the map for you.
Yeah, even at this point, even if they manage to pull it back up to 5 rounds and lose that pistol, then they're just in such a terrible position, really. If I was to go on a limb here, I'd say that this is not a win for Nordavind. Dude, you Mitch had to do it.
Every day.
I gave you a full map without a terrible joke.
Every day I think it'll get better, Dean, and it just
It'll
never does.
get better. It never will get better, Mitch. It's the jokes aren't for you guys, they're for me. They keep me happy and smiling, you know? Just knowing I'm a 9 Mitch, it keeps me motivated to keep casting.
It's been nearly a year of this, Dean. I don't know how long I can put up with this. I'm gonna need to see a counselor.
Couples counseling, yeah. Not a faction. Ooh. I think Sparrow needs a therapist. He's been absolutely destroyed. Some flashbacks going to be had. It was just around the edge of the smoke as well before it bloomed. A little bit unfortunate, but yeah, 4-on-2 right now. This is looking like Nordavind should finally pick up a round. But there is still 25 seconds and PHR and Caper, so I'm not going to completely count AGO out. The problem is that they're walking into a bit of a B stack. There's 3 players in position. And yeah, it actually does end pretty quickly. Caper gets 1 more, but a good round finally comes in. Nordavind on the board. Are they going to find much more than 1, though, is the question. At this point, they need 5, and they need that second pistol alongside, most likely they'd also want to pick up that opening gun round on the second half to really give themselves a good opportunity.
Yeah, the win conditions are starting to stack up against the CT side. You can see at this point, Nordavind 16.7 to 1 in odds. Those are some staggering. That is some staggering favor for a team that just previous map, failed to let AGO even find 7 rounds. They couldn't get anything on the board. Nowhere near double digits. 16 to 5, I believe it was on Vertigo. And it just shows how the experience on a map and not, or well, a different way to look at it, I suppose, than what I was going to say. It shows why teams sticking together for so long is important. These two teams are relatively similar in individual skill. There is a slight disparity, but I think that you wouldn't necessarily say that had they both been together 6 months or so, you wouldn't necessarily say that one is hugely favored over the other outside of looking at their results. Problem is, when they know a map better, when they have that experience and their timing's down, their rotations, they're gelled on a T side, it's so much harder to fight against when you're just a newly formed team. And this is kind of sticking with the script, I suppose. AGO, definitely the favored team for the entirety of this map so far, and it's only getting worse. Nordavind, at least they're not hard reset. That's the one upside. It's the only upside of this map for them so far with the new economy system. But even at that, 1 round on the board, they'll full buy here for sure. I mean, first of all, they have to full buy because they cannot physically afford to allow AGO. Even if they had 3k each, they would have to full buy. You can't be, finishing a half with 3 rounds if 4 is possible. And the pause coming through, though, I imagine, is just to discuss to what extent they're going to full buy. What weapons they're going to be taking out. Hauser, Chrome, and Rubino not able to fully invest themselves. Rubino could, avoid head armor and take an M4. But again, it's about utility as well. So do they want a FAMAS with the util, and then Tensky and Redafaction dropping over? Well, are they going to avoid an op? And there's a lot of things to consider.
Yeah, and they do manage to pull out a pretty competent buy. Tensky drops over 1 rifle. The Rubino Radafaction buys for himself. Halzer gets a glass cannon up. Croman willing to sacrifice down to a UMP, but they at least get some utility with a 1 defuse kit for Rubino as well. But of course, as you said, Nordavind, at this point, the best they can get is 4 rounds on the half. 4 rounds on the CT side of Inferno is never a good result. And when that is the optimal scoreline, you know that you're definitely in a tough position. A 1-for-1 trade early on as Tensky does actually manage to return fire. Just need to be careful because Forlan also up close has managed to drop Ratifaction in the background.
I said over on train, it was where Hauser kind of felt like he wasn't very present. He finished that 7 for 16 with an ADR of 34. You know, you're investing a lot into that AWP, and to not see a great reward from it, and to see him very much negative, a negative outcome versus the rifled up players, that's not what you want to see. Tensky in here with 4 kills already, holding down Banana by himself. He's now picked up the AWP from the corpse of his teammate. And as Caper comes in for the rotation, he may just be giving over the ace to Tensky. And he has to because the bomb's there, so he has to peek it. And with the smoke in play, at least he can cut off that angle for the most part. There's a bit of a gap, I think. Oh!
That helps. Makes him a much weaker opponent now. Running over towards A where Rubino is waiting. Of course, he's in the apartments and should have a pretty easy time catching him off guard here. Not going to expect that, of course, and that will be Caper gone down. A second round found for Nordavind. They make that kind of, I guess, force buy work. But again, they need to pick up the 2 remaining rounds now to even be somewhat happy. And even with that, then, if they lose the pistol, it's pretty much over and done with. They wouldn't even get a chance to try and pull it back. They'd be heading onto the T side, the side of the map that traditionally is a little bit more difficult to pick those rounds up on. Positive is, though, that it seems like AGO are actually going to go ahead and take a bit of an eco in this round. They've spent some money, at least getting Kevlar pistol, some utility, but they've only got 1 rifle in play.
They come out on top in the opening duel anyways. Ratifaction up close. It's going to be traded back, so perhaps somewhat of an upside for AGO. With 2 rounds on the board, I mean, if AGO can finish this off 13-2, it's pretty much over. You have to see 4 rounds for Norvin. This is crucial, and if they lose this round as well, where they're coming in hugely favored with the rifles, that would just be... I think on a motivational level, that would probably just shut them down. The flash goes in. This is good. This allows for the crossfire. Croman able to find 1, even though his teammate was smoked off. The assistance still came through. The man advantage now. Things are looking better. The time's still in play for AGOs. They don't have to commit to a bomb plant, but they still decide they want to. Sparrow goes through the smoke. Ooh, Halzerk was in danger. He fired 1 shot off. Just about managed to get it back out. Get the bolt cocked in time to take down his opponent and finish things off. 11-3. Nordavind find another round. 3 on the board, but this is another they need. If they don't find 4 here and then they lose the pistol, it's grey skies ahead. The next 2 rounds, super important. This one and the pistol of the next half.
Yeah, they're slowly but surely beginning to recover things, but it's really just the start of a very long journey right now for Nordavind if they want to make this a winnable series, and they're not making it easy for themselves in this final round of the half. Sparrow already catching the opening kill. Halzerk will at least manage to return it, though. That's a decent find. It wasn't looking too likely. Sparrow actually getting caught off guard, not expecting a second player to be peeking mid.
Would have been
An
a nice
attempt
shot.
on the flick there. Yeah, a little bit difficult. Only his shoulder was showing. Tensky, oh, he may have just got slightly timed. Groovy now creeped out into the long corner. This could be dangerous. There is, of course, a player in Arch right now watching that crossover, but Groovy takes him down. Ratifaction falls. What's the plan now for AGO is the question. They can split towards B if they wanted. They could take it towards A. They can really do anything. And as we see, actually, Crum getting aggressive on Banana. He's going to fall. Tensky now the last man known on A. He's been already tagged up quite heavily. This is looking to be another round for AGO, and it is indeed 12-3 at half-time. That's a very convincing half by AGO indeed.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't prompt a lot of faith towards that T side. 12 rounds on the board. It's or towards the T side now of Norvin. I mean, 12 rounds on the board for AGO is just spectacular. If they win the pistol, this could be over very, very quickly. So a long road to recovery here for Norvin, despite the second map being so convincingly in their favor. We're now seeing what AGO can do when they're comfortable with the map that they're playing on.
Counter-terrorists win. LOOT.BET. Made for live betting.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. 12-3. AGO have had a phenomenal first half. I said I wouldn't be surprised to see them up on double digits. I gotta say, I am surprised to see them with 12, though. That's certainly pushing it. Up and around double digits is what I said, because I was envisioning maybe 8, 9 rounds. Nordavind proven to be a much easier opponent for AGO than was expected, especially based on the previous map.
Yeah, Jules Barrett is in play for and shown some confidence. He is already taken care of course, but he did find 1 kill before going down, and actually the bomb being planted over on B. A quick headshot from Sparrow. A smoke to try and delay the retake at least, and a very crucial kill from Radafaction. Rubino P250 up close, and suddenly it's all on the caper. He has the defuse kit, he has 100 HP, but he also has 2 opponents to try and fight this against. Bomb planted for pretty much both of those players so that they can try and play the time. Pushes down and finds the first. And now it's only Rubino. He has an idea of where he's positioned towards the CT spawn, is quite likely. Has the chance, but doesn't connect the shot, sadly. And I think that was really the only opportunity he was actually going to get. Does end up going down to the P250 of Rubino. And with that now, Nordavind, they pick up a very crucial pistol. That gives them a bit of a lifeline now, an opportunity for them to try and fight back into this.
A very important round indeed for Nordavind. Let's see if they can fight back into it. The odds are certainly turning a little bit more so in their favor. I think that's just the... I'm not sure. I think that much of a turnaround in odds is unusual, considering it was favoring AGO way more so, and it was like 10-1. But let's look past it. Maybe it's an opportunity for those that are into betting. Ignorant on that front. 4 rounds for AGO is all they need. And the pistol coming out. Got a couple pistols, SMG, a scout. Investing into this because they believe they can get this over and done with early on. They've certainly got the rounds to play with to get themselves there. PHR goes down very low towards the B bomb site early on, though. SMG up close. Going to be swapped out. Take the Deagle instead so he can find the one-shot potential. Because if he has to use any more than 1 bullet, he'll be taken out pretty quickly. Although it doesn't look like he'll be taking too much combat, as AGO will be pressured on the A-bomb side in just a couple moments.
Yeah, Sparrow with the scout going to be the initial contact over towards Long. Had a couple of chances there to try and get some kills, most likely, since Crumman and Halzerk were already tagged up, of course, but sadly wasn't able to connect. Still a 5-on-5 for now, but time is getting relatively low, so this could get dangerous, but there's a crucial opening frag. Tensky, he gets control towards the apartments now, allows for them to begin to push up short and out through balcony, but can they hold it down is the question on the AGO side. Sparrow and Groovy find 1 each. The problem is, in this situation, it's not really enough. The smokes go down, the bomb's being planted, and PHR and Furlan at this point are, of course, just going to call for that save. They've yet to actually leave the B bomb site. They're just going to stay back, save an MP9 and a Deagle into the next round, some Kevlar as well. Realizing, of course, that in the next round, at least, if they can get some damage done, they can keep the economy low for Nordavind and try and put them down to an eco early on. Of course, with a 12-round scoreline already for AGO, if they do manage to force 1 eco out of Nordavind, they're likely finding 14 pretty easily.
Well, we're going to have to wait till we see a full buy round before we start to believe in this comeback. Frag leader at the moment. Up there on 15 kills with 91 ADR is PHR. It speaks towards just how well-rounded this performance is, all in all, for AGO. 15, he's on 17 kills. Oh no, sorry, Sparrow's on 17 kills. I don't know how he's the frag leader then. We're being lied to today, Dean. Second time.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a
Production.
Come on, guys. Come
Come on, man. Watch it just be one guy, and he's like, "I'm so sorry, Cass."
I should say, like, heavy fragger. Just, that's all.
Yeah, or just a highlight.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, then you're avoiding it. You mess
Yeah,
up.
you're,
it
you're
doesn't matter.
really avoiding, like, okay, he may not be the top performer, but you can debate impact, you know?
And certainly has had impact. I mean, you don't want to take anything away from him. The Sparrow's doing a great job, but he's the AWP player. It's his job, which is gonna be tested pretty soon. See if he can do his job. Oh, actually, not in this round. They don't have enough money, I don't think, for an op to come out. Let's double check that when we get back in. Oh, they do. Okay, Sparrow just takes body armor alongside the AWP. Fair enough. Miscalculated. Moving over towards. Oh my god. Okay, what's happening? Croman's just come over on B, claimed 2 kills with an SMG. Again, a full buy came through, and he just didn't give a damn. And I think one of them didn't have head armor, so it definitely becomes a little bit easier to connect the kill. But for the other, it's a bit more devastating. B's completely lost, and AGO going in for a full save. As the bomb still yet to be planted. And their economy isn't the best for the next round. I mean, if they manage to pull off a 12-3 comeback on the Nordavind side and win this map, that would be just nuts. They're so heavily disadvantaged. I mean, AGO with... But I suppose it does come back to what I said to start it off, which was that AGO were a strong T-side team here on Inferno, but they suffer a lot on their CT side. Now, what I mean by that normally is they get, like, 7 rounds on their T-side. You know, 7 to 9. Good day. And then their CT, we can sometimes see them going down like 8. I think it was up against 4s that they got 7 rounds. He managed 1 CT then. Surely you'd imagine, with the dominance they've shown with 12 so far, that they'd be able to repel this kind of thing. There you go. PHR had no head armor to start it off. Furlan had just popped a flash. That timing was spectacular for Croman. And a very unfortunate way to lose the round for AGO, because now Nordavind are getting to a much more conceivable comeback scoreline. You can see the odds definitely coming down. Definitely starting to swing into their favor more so than before. Only 5 rounds between these teams, but still a long road.
Yeah, certainly getting a lot closer now. As you said, it is still a fairly long road, but that gap can close in quite quickly, especially when it's the CT side that has the lead, because you're not able to get a bomb plant down, for example, to confirm a buy in back-to-back rounds. If you get a buy and lose that one, unless you save and drop over a few weapons, then you're likely going to be stuck with just pistols and Kevlar in the next. So pretty quickly that gap can close in, but I don't think AGO are going to be too worried quite yet. They do have a little bit of room still to work with.
This round is... Oh, okay. Pulled back a little bit by Caper, but Grubby's caught in the open. Eliminated the bomb towards the B bomb site, though. That's where the real combat's going to be coming down. PHR knows it's a player coming in through CT. He's inside the smoke to keep himself safe, but the bomb's starting the rotation. Even still, though, great recovery from AGO. Now able to come into this with 3 rifles on the retake. The thing is, do they expect that Radifaction's going to be holding up close, that he's in library waiting for them? They do now, and PHR even claims the fight, takes Radifaction's head off, and it's a 1 versus 3, an AWP in play as well for Furlan. This is going to get very scary very fast for Halzerk. Hasn't been the most impactful player throughout this series, but certainly starting to wake up in the last couple of rounds. Now with an AK-47 instead of his AWP. Can he do it? Finds one. There's a second. He knows exactly where Caper is, but as he swings out, Caper's already ready and takes the head clean off. A 13th for AGO, but it couldn't have been closer.
Yeah, but the problem is for Nordavind, they can't afford to let those rounds go at all. Even if it's close rounds where the economy is kept relatively low for AGO, and it just puts them ever so close to that finish line. They're 13-7 now. Of course, Nordavind can buy again, but after the investment in this round, they're not going to have much money left. Meaning, if AGO do actually manage to get this second round now together back-to-back, then Nordavind are in a very awkward position. They could maybe actually pull out some form of buy, but it wouldn't be great. They'd need a bomb plant for sure.
Well, nothing to happen early on in the round except for Sparrow getting tagged down low. With the AWP, he can still get the impact done. End of the world. He's currently sitting over towards the graveyard. Have at least a little bit of cover. Dance around. Isolate the angles he's going to be peeked from. 13-7. Take a look at the money for Nordavind right now. If they lose this round, that's going to be AGO maybe up to match point. Or certainly on a 14-7 versus a weak buy at best.
Looks like they are going to favor over towards B. Two players in position for AGO on this side of the map. I believe it is Groovy and Caper. Actually, it's Furlan and PHR. I'm completely wrong. I messed up the numbers on the side. You know, we can see them currently. But yeah, they're going to have to try and hold this down. They don't have a lot of utility. They did have that one Molotov to try and delay slightly. But the trades coming in do actually favor Nordavind. They're able to go ahead and grab a man advantage. Rubino going to get aggressive into construction as well, so he can shut down the rotation before it happens to actually set up the retake. And with that now, AGO, it looks like they have gone ahead and called for the save. With it, with the two weapons at least being, or rather 3 weapons at least being saved over, Caper and Sparrow will be able to drop. But it's a tough position now because Nordavind, they're just getting ever so close to really beginning to pull this back. They're looking a lot stronger on the T side. Actually managed to save all 3 weapons at least. That is a positive. We should see them having a pretty solid investment in this round and not actually being dropped over to Furlan. PHR should have a rifle as well. He does actually get an M4 into play. And they have a pretty much full amount of utility as well across the board on everyone. So it is a solid investment. But if Nordavind win this one, that's when AGO then are in a little bit of an awkward spot. I think they'll get 20. I think they'll be back on the full loss bonus actually at that point. But even then, it's still not really ideal.
Well, look, Nordavind at this point are starting to recover a little bit of my faith. This is, look at... Maybe I should stop speaking, Dean. Maybe I should stop talking. 2-man disadvantage for them to play with now. Straight away. Sparrow and Caper just go, oh, you like it? You think these guys have a chance? No. Let me kill them. Now we're furling on the AWP as well. Things are starting to fall apart for this T side. Just as they start to look better, Furlan gets out of there with the AWP alive. Grubby goes down, okay. Potential to recover this is certainly there. Bomb to be planted, spam's going through. Lands some damage onto Halzerk. Chrome is thinking of, oh, okay, Furlan actually gets Molotov to death. This is even better. It's a B defense. If they find the opening kill on the push through, it could look better, but it doesn't as PHR finds one. He's cautious of the smoke. He catches him off guard as well. Halzerk crouching through the smoke. I thought he had him. But PHR just about backs out of that smoke in time. That's going to be 13-8, turning into 14-8. AGO pulling ahead yet again, and they're so close to a victory now.
Yeah, that's tough for Nordavind. Again, they can get the buy at least, so going to be coming into this one with a relatively strong investment, a little bit of money still left in the bank also. With 14 to 8 right now, AGO, they've finally begun to find some rounds. Sure, they haven't managed to actually chain them together here on the CT side, but that's the point, I guess. That's the lucky part of having such a strong T side. Oh, and that aggression right there. Yeah, Ratifaction gets spotted jumping up, and they didn't really have any idea. Although Caper will be traded, of course, there was also an up peeking down mid that's able to return it once again. So AGO are looking favored. Rubino is just barely hanging on to life at the moment with 2 HP.
Oh, that nade coming through from PHR. Luckily, Rubino's already made it up towards the top and middle. He avoided being Kobe'd to death. And a man disadvantage with such low HP on a player as well. This looks pretty bad for Nordavind. The round they really need. At least he gets opt, so the low HP didn't come into effect. Molotoving completely separating out the T's, meaning they can't really get anything done just yet. Two-man advantage in play for the CT side. It's still winnable for Nordavind. They have utility, making their way up towards the B bomb site. PHR is here now to back up his teammate, but it's still a 2 versus 2. Execute coming in. 2 smokes thrown over. That should indicate towards A, and the 2 Molotovs. Definitely AG on know the 2 players are here. They make a push down bottom middle to make sure there's no retreat. Molotov on the cross. Tensky goes down pretty low to 69 HP. Apple Pride. Furlan! Oh, that's great from Tensky. Up on top of the coffins. Finds himself a kill. By taking out Furlan, the AWP, now they're allowed to get a bomb plant. With the time on their side. AGO have to make this retake happen.
Yeah, they have still a bit of utility in play. They have actually 3 flashes and the Molotov that they can use to try and flush some of these players out. See the Molotov in towards Dark. Sadly, not going to be too useful. It's up close on construction and in towards second oranges. Holzer gets the first kill, does some further damage, and brings it down to a 1v1 before he eventually falls. It's Tensky up against Groovy. Kit is in play to allow for the defuse to come in a little bit quicker. Of course, he is actually going to go ahead and try and just stick it. The problem is Tensky goes for the peek and takes him down very quickly. 9 to 14, Nordavind get another round on the board. 5 now in the difference. But of course, Nordavind, if they want to take the win here in regulation, they're going to have to take all of the remaining rounds. And do so without losing another one at all, because otherwise the best they can do is overtime. And an overtime, I guess, would be nice to end things out here. But I don't know how confident you're feeling about it, Mitch. Do you think that Nordavind can do this? Are they going to be able to pull it up and get the win, or maybe take it into overtime and get the win from there? Or is it inevitable that AGO eventually manage to close this out?
I don't know. I feel like with 14 rounds on the board, this is where, with most teams, I'd say AGO have pretty much a guarantee to win this. But the problem is that we've seen again and again that their T sides can be very much substandard versus how well they perform on the T. With 14, a mix buy through here, of course, the AWP for Sparrow, Caper on the M4. They've already claimed the opening kill, but towards the later part of the round, the T's will be running into players without armor that have pistols. Already you see they've spotted out a couple players towards the B bomb site, but they have no idea that there's 3 here. One boosted up as well. I believe that's Caper, indeed, with the M4 in hand. Setting up for these smokes. They're going to be executing towards B once more. Nordavind sending all 4 of their players on this B bomb site. There's 3 towards A, so they have got a very good chance. They're just going to be careful of Caper here. Only lands 1, and that's perfect. Bomb site claimed. Smoke on the cross of the bomb plant can easily be obtained. And AGO, with a retake and an AWP, they don't really want to risk, or they shouldn't really want to risk this up, but it looks like they're going to go for it, being as they have money for the next round.
Ooh, yeah, easy kill for Tensky. Sparrow just creeped slowly into the angle, and I think with that kill coming in, they really do have to just back off and save. They will have a buy coming up in the next round, at least on the AGO side. With double digits for Nordavind, this is getting a lot closer than it was looking to be, especially since at one point AGO had a 10-0 lead. And of course, did manage to close at the half 12-3, which was still a pretty solid result, and since then have only picked up 2 rounds there on the defense. And it looks like only PHR is going to survive as well, which is a little bit awkward. They still have enough to get the full buyout. Luckily, PHR, he saves over the op also. So that probably will be traded with Sparrow, maybe taking a rifle in return. So they should be able to get a pretty solid buy. And yeah, you can see they have pretty much everything yet again. But the problem is, even though they've had these buys, pretty much every round or every second round, they're still kind of struggling to make them work consistently.
AGO winning this round would push Nordavind over to a pretty weak buy for the next, and so as long as they keep doing the damage, all they have to do is win one eventually. KdTV does really well to find what a second as well in pit. Even though he's been pincered down, he's doing so much for his team. A man advantage now coming in for the retake. Halzerk on 8 HP. This round has gotten out of hand very quickly. Nordavind looked like they had that bomb site under control. Only the pit player. They were aware that he was there. They sent 2 players to dispatch him. Somehow he kills them both. Puts down a player to 8 HP. Oh, but it's being pulled back. 21 and 8 HP on these players, but they're in the pit. This gives them so much cover. They're playing this together as well. Furlan's going to find it very difficult to get out of apartments and find anything in range of damage because he'll be falling as he does. Spamming away, failing to get a kill. He's out of here. Nordavind, they looked like they were going to win the round. AGO looked like they're going to win the round, and then it swings back the other way. Nordavind walk away with 14 to 11. This is possible, Dean, for them to make a comeback from 12-3 down. Nordavind could even win this in regulation at this point.
Yeah, my dog's barking a little bit, Mitch. Can't be mad at her because she's cute, so apology.
I would never be mad at your dog, Dean.
You never know. The door knocked, so she's just excited to meet people.
For AGO now, what are they going to buy up in this? Pause comes through to discuss it. Sparrow has money. Furlan can drop over a rifle. He avoids utility. Caper as well can get himself one, but again, no utility. So it is probably best to half buy. Take as much as you can while still having money over for the next round, and that's what they decide to go for. So far, this has been a very strong map for Sparrow on the scopes. He takes out a scout again, actually with the AWP. There we go, those odds coming down. Starting to look better for Nordavind as time goes on, but AGO again only need to find one round to guarantee themselves at least in overtime.
I think this is kind of the point now where AGO do really begin to worry. Of course, coming into this round, they don't have the full investment. This should be a pretty easy 12th for Nordavind. And then with that next gun round coming out, it's going to be pretty much all or nothing for AGO. If they lose that one, then we likely see the scoreline being equalized up. But look at that by Sparrow. Gets boosted up over the wall and is able to quickly take off the head of Croman. Unfortunately, the weapon, of course, not going to be retrieved, but it gives them an opportunity. It gives them a man advantage to try and work this round in their favor. And I don't think Ratifaction is going to expect Groovy to already be in the smoke. Look at that, he gets completely caught off guard. The knife came out and a little bit of panic showed.
Geo, although they've found a lot of kills, they've lost control of the bomb site. Managing just one more as well. Miles are going down. Tensky's got it all on his shoulders. A player that we've seen work above smokes very successfully before. The smoke dissipates, so he only finds one. Furlan in position to help out, but it's Grubby that finds the kill. And the defuse to go through 100%. That is going to be 15 to 11. EGO back on the scoreboard and certainly have the opportunity to finish this off here. Nordavind still have a bit of money though. That's the only problem for them right now.
Yeah, it's an okay buy. You can see Ratifaction not going to get any utility, and I don't think Croman's going to have much either, actually, although he does go ahead and sacrifice down to a CZ in order to get the utility. So it's a decent enough investment. 4 players with some utility use, 4 rifles, just the one kind of CZ being a weakness in terms of firepower. But this round, of course, is the one that Nordavind need to pick up. If they can get this, then there's a real chance that they can pull this back and try and take it into overtime. But AGO right now, they want to try and finally close this out. They're actually being a lot more proactive, willing to get this control early on towards Banana. And that's good to see because it gives them the chance of a quick flank. It also allows, if they want, for them to take a bit of a gamble and maybe stack an extra player over towards A.
This is going to be a very, very hefty commitment. Surprised that they still have their 2 players down towards the bottom of Banana. AGO now only 3 to deal with the A push, but they have got bottom mid control being seized. Looks like they're going to try to cut off this T side as they push towards A, but it means the A players have to get a good defense on the board. Grubby finds at least 1, but it might not be enough. Players in the bomb site. Oh, what is going on? Caper just runs out in the open, finds himself a kill. PHR as well. The flank coming up from Furlan isn't allowed to land anything, so it's all onto Sparrow. 1 versus 2. An AWP to win the map and indeed the series for his team. He's waiting for the bomb site player to make a mistake. Ratifaction sitting behind the box patiently.
Yeah, playing this really well. Has a little bit of a gap as well that he should spot if Sparrow walks onto the bomb site itself. And you can see with the time running down, Sparrow having an op to save over, decides that that's probably his best decision, although he's going over towards long. Going to be spotted. He takes down Tensky at least, but at this point the time is just getting too low. Although he does have a defuse kit, he realizes that himself and begins to back off. It's going to be a 12th round for Nordavind. 3 more to try and take this into overtime is all they need. And again, that was after at one point being down 10-0 and being down 12-3 at the halftime as well. See, actually, AGO, although they do buy into this round, it is a little bit limited. PHR and Cape are not able to get the rifles out, instead limited to pistols, although Sparrow finding an opening kill pretty quickly down mid. AGO do start this round off very well. Oh, the wall bang as well. Croman tagged down to 47. Fortunate to survive, but it makes this round much, much more difficult right now for Nordavind. AGO, they're getting ever so close to finishing this.
Roman tagged down and on a Mac 10 obviously isn't ideal. They do still have their AKs on the Nordavind side to try and make this work. Over towards the B bomb side is where they're focusing their attention right now. Berlin doesn't land anything with the op. Fully flashed. Now behind a smoke. It's all on Grubby. Again, only landing 1 before being eliminated. AGO still have a man advantage. They need to keep it that way. Furlan playing it risky up close to that smoke. Keeps a bit of map control, which could definitely help them out. The bomb to be planted, but Rubino goes down to 31 in the process. Allowing some of these weaker, well, Caper to land some damage with a CZ perhaps, or PHR on the M4. 2 players with AWPs on this retake isn't ideal. But if they can find someone out in the open, they can do the damage. Halzerk goes down to 21. But again, it's just lighting these players up won't be enough. They don't know exactly how low some of these guys are, and the time is running down. PHR lands 1. Halzerk thinking about the peak. He's going to go for it eventually. Taken out by PHR, who's swinging out, looking towards Stark. Finds nothing as Ratifaction all but confirms the round for his team. And with a final headshot, a 4th kill, it's 15-13. An AWP saved over for the T side again as Nordavind keep themselves alive by a thread. But here's the dreaded full buy for AGO. They managed to take it that close with a half investment. Let's see what they can do with everything on the table.
Yeah, that's a tough round for AGO to lose right there. If they lose this one then as well, they have no money left over, so unless they were saving some weapons, they actually would be put down onto an even weaker investment in this following round. So this is definitely their best chance to try and actually close this out. Oh, that's a decent opening frag. Gruby catching Halzerk there in mid, just as the smoke blew him as well. A lot of damage being exchanged elsewhere. Tensky brought them pretty low, but they're finding the frags either way. The A-bomb site beginning to open up. Gruby puts up the best defense he possibly can, and it comes down to a 2-on-2 for Croman and Tensky. They're barely hanging on to life right now. 1 HP for Tensky, as said before. Croman on 16, not much better.
Practically bleeding out in the pit. Roman has the AWP though, so this angle is very favorable towards him. A Molotov in play for PHR probably won't be deployed towards that angle. Would it be the conventional pit angle? Full blind gives away his position. That allows PHR to find the kill. Molotov goes out. Smoke on it though. Tensky has to push forward. He's mollied. He's taken down by the flames. The defuse. I don't think there's time.
Oh no, there's not.
They had a kit. Oh, if they had a kit, it was 1, but AGO don't. That is heartbreaking. But Nordavind have managed to walk away with a victory, playing the time perfectly, even with a combined HP of 17. It's 15-14. We could be facing into an overtime.
It's looking really likely. As I said, it wouldn't be a great buy. It's actually decent enough that they found quite a few frags at least, got a little bit of extra money to come into this round with, and of course do still have the full loss bonus, so it's okay. Rifles do come out, FAMAS being the main weakness for Caper. They don't have a defuse kit sadly to work with either, and utility-wise it's definitely not perfect. This is the last chance for AGO to close it out here now before it heads on into overtime, and that'd be a tough position for them to be in after being up 12-3, maybe feeling like the game was pretty much already won for them. Suddenly they're sitting at 15-15. That'll be something pretty difficult to mentally overcome. Like, back on Vertigo, sure, they got kind of destroyed losing 16-5, but when you're on Vertigo, a new map that's been added to the pool, you can kind of let yourself away with it a bit.
I think, look, AGO, this is something I said at the start, right? AGO's T side is good on this map. It's very good. Their CT side is lacking at times. But this is a far greater illustration of that than I thought we'd see. Furlan at least comes in with one, making things a little better. The spam is good, but his teammate PHR unable to find a frag, leaves him wanting more, needing more, and he's so close to landing it. Almost everybody's low, lighting them up through that smoke, but not able to land the final bullets to finish it off. No damage dealing utility, which means they have to take the fight. So Caper already does well, dispatching one. Grubby with another. His teammate's not there to support him, though. They were stuck behind a smoke. Tensky in this position with no Molotovs to push him out of it. This is going to be very difficult to get a defuse down. They've no smokes to block the site. They have to push down. They have to try to find the kill. Furlan's ready for this peek. His teammate's now covering him. He's not got time to get the defuse, though, because the peek comes in from Tensky to close it out with a 2K and push us over to an overtime, Dean. How has this happened from a 12-3 lead that AGO have to fight in an OT?
And not only that, Mitch, but there was so many rounds that came down to these clutches. Ratifaction with that massive 1v3 that he got from the dark corner. That clutch there from Tensky in the 1-on-2. The bomb, of course, had to be stuck. The initial player taken down, and it was pretty much over and done with. And now it's overtime. AGO, they've struggled a bit, but they've had buys pretty consistently, so you have to be worried. Even with that economy coming into the overtime, I believe it'll be 16k. This is actually the first overtime I think we're seeing, Mitch. So we'll find that out for sure in a moment. But yeah, I'm definitely worried for AGO because Nordavind have just looked really strong on this T side. Well coordinated, and everyone is stepping it up when it's needed.
Now this has been spectacular so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing the overtime as it comes through. But wait just a couple seconds as we'll be bringing you the OT of Nordavind and AGO very soon.
LOOT.BET. Made for live betting.
And 15-15 is how we ended regulation. That is a certainly an interesting scoreline. Based on how we started things off, each team claiming 12 rounds on their T side. And now Nordavind looking to show us a little bit more. It's the full buys coming out from both teams as the 16k OT is confirmed.
Yeah, it's definitely worrying, but I guess the positive is for AGO, they can pull out whatever they wanted into this round. They can kind of get a bit of a fresh mind state right now coming into this one, and that's definitely what they do need. What's the plan for Nordavind? Early on, they've pretty much just given up banana. We've seen them a lot of the time actually trying to take that control early on, and they had been successful. In this round, though, favoring over towards A early on, smoke towards long and short, and they're just looking to try and get that initial control of brackets, I suppose. Oh, actually, no, they are going to have a couple players coming out of balcony now as well. That's the pick control being found. Problem is, there's still 3 players towards the bomb site.
Sparrow goes down. This is looking better and better for Nordavind at this point. Caper out there without a trading. Well, he does find one with the Molotov from the grave. But still, a 1 versus 3 retake. This has just been a consistent problem for the CT side. Not able to get these rounds on the board. As soon as Nordavind pressure a bomb site, it seems like they're constantly able to walk away with the advantages, or at least with the bomb plant. What a comeback this has been. From Vertigo being so one-sided to then such a close map, pushed over to OT, now 1 round up, Nordavind. Is this the first time in the whole series? Yeah, indeed, the first time in this whole map that they've actually been ahead is right here in the overtime.
Definitely not the series, because they did win Vertigo.
Indeed.
But here on Inferno, yeah, this is the first time they've got the lead for themselves. They were down 10-0, then they were down 12-3, eventually pulling it back and taking it into overtime, but that was all from the comeback. Went into overtime with the opening round, though, 16-15, they're looking favored. And let's see if they can continue on with that. If they can pick up, I think ideally they do want to pick up the 2 remaining rounds here on the T side again, because when we look back at regulation, the CT definitely was a struggle for Nordavind.
Well, here's another push towards B. Let's see if it goes any better for the CTs. PHR with 1. Furlan as well, but the trades again instantly back. Well, the Molotov from Sparrow is good for 1, which puts a man advantage in the hands of the CTs, with the bomb still to be planted. This could be a powerful position, but the bomb is uncontestable at this point. Means the retake will go through, will have to go through. With Caper going down early on, that AWP pick is very important. Tensky being covered perfectly as well by Halzerk. He has to push past that smoke, though, which puts him a little bit out of position. Sparrow pushes on forward. He's taken down. Halzerk tries to get more, and he does indeed. A 3K with the AWP. We said he'd been asleep in the series overall, but here he is, woken up and ready to rumble. 17-15. Nordavind ahead by 2, and 2 rounds away from a victory. This could even be a flawless T side.
That's definitely what they're hoping for as well. If they can bring it up to that 18-15, they only need to pick up 1 CT round, and that kind of takes a lot of pressure off their shoulders, because I think that regulation, their previous CT side, probably still in the back of their mind somewhat. But this is definitely looking good. AGO need to pick this one up, otherwise the best they can do, of course, is take it into a second overtime at that point. They'd have to pull off a flawless T side themselves as well. As in this one, Nordavind taking their time. They're playing a little bit of a slower round. Halzer continuing on with the farm from the previous. Is actually going to be able to shut down that initial peak from Gruby on Banana. A 5-on-4 going in favor of Nordavind, as AGO again are put in an awkward spot.
The favorites coming into this series, I mean, you did not expect to see AGO find themselves in this position. Flashbang going over towards A, but it is a fake. Even commit a player to it as Ratifaction falls. A very swift beat push ensues. Furlan finds 1. Coming through the smoke. Rubino's out of play. And a 2 versus 4. Getting worse and worse by the second. Furlan just keeps on giving with that AWP. Finally taken down by Tensky on the AUG. But he's got a 1 versus 4. He's already found 1 of those kills. No more to be found. That's a beautiful flashbang from Sparrow, capitalized on by PHR, and a round on the board for the CTs at least, which gives them somewhat of a chance. But 17-16. Nora win. I think they've set themselves up well, but you've also got to take into consideration the fact that they really didn't have a great time in the full buys on their CT side either.
Yeah, that was a strange approach there. Nordavind just going through that smoke kind of 1 by 1. I think if Furlan had been just pushed down in unison by the Nordavind players, I'm not sure who went through the smoke first. I think it may have been Rubin. But yeah, it was just jumping through with the knife out definitely wasn't a great idea. If they were going to do that, have a player instantly ready with a rifle to follow it up. So once that first shot is taken, it can be traded at least. Instead, the first player jumped through, the second after he died jumped through. And of course, for them at that found 3 and just held the round down. 1 for AGO on their CT side. Can they manage to pull off another good showing on the T side? That was the question, because they certainly don't have the same momentum now as they head back over to the T side as they did when they were on that offense back in regulation.
Not gonna lie, Dean, I'm kind of scared that there's gonna be an ad. I don't know when it's coming. It always sneaks up on me. But no, looks like we're jumping straight into the next half for that one. Okay. Cool. As we said, we haven't really hit the OTs too much, so it's a new system. We are but the humble voices, in charge of the beautiful graphics you see popping up on your screen.
I mean, we should take credit anyway. They're pretty nice.
Yeah, I'm doing all this at once. There's a console for you. Achievements disabled, sadly. So we're gonna have to go into a have to get the production into a private server afterwards. Get their achievements up. You done legendary all skulls?
I don't know what you're on about, Mitch.
What? Did you never play Halo 3?
I have played Halo 3.
Yeah. You played on legendary with all skulls in Halo.
Okay. Well,
I
wasn't really an achievement hunter, to be honest.
God damn it.
Sorry, Mitch. I like playing games and enjoying myself. But yeah, looking pretty solid for AGO to start this round off. Actually, they do have an advantage. 4v3, the Op of Halzerk remaining aggressive though, and he's actually going to be able to find the Nutter. Comes in and drops Furlan as well. That's 3 now for the Op of Halzerk. Of course, the bomb is actually being dropped. It's up against the wall at least. I think it may be retrievable, but the problem is Tensky is here as well. And they want to hold this down. They don't want to give any chance at all. Rubino gets 1 on the other side of the map, and Tensky finishes it off. Map point for Nordavind, and of course with that serious point.
Indeed, Nordavind on map point. Just 1 more. They need to get to 19. AGO got to be getting scared at this point. Their T side has been pretty formidable up until this point. But now they need 2 in a row. They need to show us that half number 1 of this map. Look at that. The odds completely flipped. We saw almost the identical odds the opposite way around. Just a couple minutes, like 20-30 minutes ago. But this has been a long series, and lots has changed. As finally the opening kill goes the way of the T's. Halzerk also goes down to 9 HP. AGO looking better in this round. But yet to find direction, yet to commit towards the bomb site as a unit. They have to be careful not to be picked back. Halzerk, of course, does have the AWP in play, and hunting him down may result in a free kill for the CTs. Seems to have an idea that up close was Grubby. His teammate finds the kill, and Sparrow goes down as well. The man advantage is no more. Ratifaction, they're not going to think he's there. With the Molotov having been there, they probably assumed that he wouldn't be able to get into the corner, but it doesn't matter. He runs away anyways. But a man advantage now for the CTs to play with. A bit of a fake towards A as Caper pushes up. 2 players still on B, though. That's going to be a bit of a problem for AGO. Oh, I'm not even sure that they're faking, though. They're slow walking down Banana. So it does seem like they want to hit this A bomb site, and that could work out well for them because Capper's been sat up at very close to the wagon for quite a bit. They might not suspect him to be there and expose themselves to him. Exactly, that goes down. Ratifaction out of play. Capper goes out and takes out Rubino, and AGO back into the round all of a sudden. With still Halzerk being so low on HP, this is not an ideal situation. Nordavind have to go for it. They have money for the next round either way. But they've got a lot to recover now on the back of that play.
Oh, PHR. The kill comes in, and that leaves, of course, only Croman now. Not able to find anything as he creeps up short. 1 more round for AGO to send it into a second overtime. This is the last chance for Nordavind to close it out here and take the win in overtime number 1. Otherwise, 18-18 means a second OT comes into play. And it'll pretty much be back to square 1 as the overtime restarts.
Indeed, we could be stepping right on back, taking it way back to the start of an overtime. If AGO can manage to walk away with this, that's the best possible scenario for them at this point. And Nordavind, with a double up setup, are looking to find the opening kill, but they don't manage it this time, unfortunately. Croman still wants to play aggressive. They continue to keep this aggressive hold on Banana. The Molotov goes down, which indicates that a little bit. Croman dies to a molly as well. That's not a good spot at all. Great shot by Halzerk into a 4 versus 4. Advantage still tipping towards that AGO side. With only 2 players to defend the A bomb side, it's not going to be an easy defense. They deploy a lot of utility to push them back, but looks like it's not going to be an A defense at all, as Ratafaction is unfortunately about to find out. With 4 players outside of Banana, he's got nobody to help him out.
Yeah, and they're actually going to begin to push in now through the smoke. A bit of damage on the spam. But it's returned, of course. Rubino actually goes ahead and pulls off 1 kill, spamming through the CT smoke himself. So a couple of spams come true. It keeps it in a pretty equal position with the 3-on-3. But of course, now the bomb has been planted, and Forlin catches the boost, killing the bottom player first, dropping down a second frag to be easily taken. With that now, it's only Hensky remains. There it is. A second overtime is going to come in, Mitch. As this map number 3 is not disappointing. It was looking one-sided. I said I was excited for Inferno as the final map because it usually is a very competitive game, and it wasn't. But Nordavind heard that, and they've come back into this. Second overtime, AGO putting up a fight as well now. Both teams looking pretty solid. Who's going to be able to go ahead and finally get that win? Will it be in the second overtime, or could we see even more?
Yeah, it's coming, Dean. I don't know when it's coming. It's coming sometime. But we'll talk until it does. I'll just cut myself right on off. 30 kills on Halzerk. I mean, I feel like he took it as a personal insult that I said he wasn't showing up during this series. He is now top fragging the server and has proven that he's definitely worthy of that AWP. AGO still keeping themselves in it, though. And, my God, this has been a hell of a close series.
I feel like we may be not having any more ads, Mitch. We sadly aren't told.
Yeah, this is the hard part. We just gotta wait and see.
We figured we wouldn't. We would have an ad, so we didn't really. We weren't prepared to talk. You know, we were expecting to get cut off about halfway into a sentence, so we were we were ready more so to talk after the pause. But we can talk through this. It's 18-18 again, as we said. It's a very close matchup so far. And I honestly have no idea who I'm favoring at the moment, because it seems like really either of these teams can step it up right now.
Yeah, indeed. Both teams stepping it up when they need to, keeping themselves alive. I mean, Nordavind pulling it all the way back in that second half of regulation. And right here, AGO do it on their T side. Really, I feel like the first one to have a solid CT side, to get their 2 rounds on the board, is the one that's going to win, because it's just been a game of T sides so far. We're rolling into this OT. 16k. You can get whatever the hell you want. Rifles, ops. You can take 5 ops if you like. You shouldn't, but you can if you want.
Definitely wouldn't, man. wouldn't be a good idea. 18-18. We're coming into it now. The second overtime. AGO this time actually do start off on the T side, so it's a little bit of a flipped situation from the previous round, and Forlin actually burns Ratafaction alive. He wanted to try and push down Banana. Sadly, a nade and a Molotov combined to quickly drop him. AGO, the team to shed blood coming into the second half. First time around, it's Sparrow as well who follows up with another kill. Eventually, a trade comes back from Tensky, but he takes a lot of damage in the process, and it's a 4-on-3, of course, that does heavily favor AGO. With that extra kill being found there by PHR towards B, the round pretty much over and done. Sparrow even finding 1 more, leaving Tensky in a position where he pretty much just has to go for the save, although he's going to push down mid. They have plenty of money, I suppose, so can just go for it, but the chances of winning it, pretty much 0. And of course he does go down to Caper, who is still kind of just hanging around on ramp. See, as I said, of course, Nordavind would pretty easily reinvest into this round. They still have enough to buy in the next one as well if needed. But they do want to, as you said, try and pick up 2 rounds here on the CT side if they want to put themselves in a solid position. Surprisingly, it has been a T-sided affair so far. Both teams kind of having much more success on the offense, which is a little bit surprising for Inferno.
Yeah, it's not what we expected, but it's how things are rolling right now. Smokes over towards A. It does look to be an execute. Halzerk spots a couple of them coming on through. Finds a kill, but he's going to be traded immediately by Furlan coming around that corner. Takes him from behind. And a 4 versus 4. Nordavind have two very isolated players on the A-bomb site. They can't even help each other. That's the real problem for them as Croman finds one. Caper goes down to try and trade. Oh, he can't find him. Croman lands a second with Tensky in the pit, landing another. Things are not looking good. Trouble in paradise for AGO right now with 7 HP. Sparrows very quickly dealt with the USP headshot to close it out and put us 19 to 19. A reminder, the magic number right now is 22. First team to make it there lands the victory. Or else, if it's 21-21, we are going to be leading into another OT. A third one. Dean, the most OTs we've ever done, I think, was 4. Get the 20... No, it was 3, right? 25-23 to Kingwin on train.
I think I may have done more than that at some point. But yeah, we've seen some pretty long games between us. And I wouldn't be too surprised if this does go more overtime, just because it's been looking so back and forth over these past few rounds. Sure, it started off very one-sided and then became a little one-sided in the second half as well, but since overtime has started, it has been kind of rounds traded back and forth somewhat. Let's see, 19-19, both teams, of course, looking for the final round of this half. They want to go into the second half of this overtime with a bit of an advantage to work with.
AGO haven't decided on a direction just yet. It looks like it will be A. Certainly the utility being lined up for outside of there. But with 40 seconds left on the clock, this could be very scary. Nordavind potentially getting themselves another round of the board. They could do it with the time, as Caper is completely cut off from making anything happen towards the balcony. They changed direction. They focused themselves towards the B-bomb site, not yet having dragged any rotations, and Halzerk's very quick to rotate to that B-bomb site. This could be scary for the T's, as Rubino already comes in, but one AWP in his hands. A second is possible. They're spamming away. It means he knows they're up close. A third on the board. No fourth. Sparrow's sure to shut it down before that happens, but Halzerk's there, finding that, and with Caper on 1 HP. It has to be the clutch with the AWP. He gets one. No trade. Nothing's happening. On the bomb site, Radifaction's just hiding, just waiting. He knows the time's in his favor, and eventually takes Caper out. 2 rounds secured for Nordavind, which I feel puts them in a better spot overall. Because so far, like we said, it has just been the T sides that have been dominating. Talking about dominating, Rubino on that hole did so well with the AWP. But again, it comes down to AGO kind of having weird spacing on that push.
Yeah,